I realize now that in order to accomplish big things, you have to be delusional. What I mean by that is without that state of wishing for something so big, yearning for something so large scale, like that dream that you have, that dream thing that you want your life to look like when you're older, it all comes down to you realize how much of you deceive your own self, you deceive your own mind to get where you want to be. And think about it like with dreams, with you can use successful people as examples in the fact that there's a lot of in order to accomplish something big, you have to lie to yourself. And you can use in examples like for me, for example, there's times where when I post something and maybe it doesn't perform the best. Granted, I am in the beginning stage, but the next video that I'm planning, I'm thinking it's going to do better. It's going to perform well. And I don't know for a fact if it is or not. For me, it's all up to chance right now and up to growth and consistency. So I'm lying to myself in that situation. And when you think about every other successful person who starts from the beginning and has to defy the odds to do what a lot of people don't, then you have to kind of be delusional in that state. When you're not when you're not trying to reach for average, you're trying to reach for something greater. It's gonna push past what is almost reality. You're gonna view successful people, professional athletes. They all start and they look at the odds. They see how it really isn't gonna happen unless you lie to yourself in a way. So you could think of any professional athlete. Use Messi for example. I don't know him personally at all, but I guarantee you, when he's at the beginning, he knows the stakes. He knows how difficult it's going to be and how much work he's going to have to put into it. And he still showed up to every time he tried to want to get better, every practice he had, every game he had, and he knew the odds and lied to himself saying he could make it to the point where he did make it. And that's what I'm trying to talk about today. Is you have to be delusional. You have to lie to yourself, and that simple fact of lying to yourself is gonna push you to eventually become that unrealistic goal, that dream that you have. And so find yourself wanting to accomplish that dream, right? And you when you become too realistic, you're gonna realize how difficult the situation might be, how stressful it might be, how much effort you have to put into something. And all that does is push your motivation, your discipline, your drive for that dream further down. You're gonna find yourself pushing against yourself. You're battling against your own self because you're viewing the realistic outcome of most people's lives the same as yours, and that's the first mistake. You when you compare yourself with others and you push these realistic standards on yourself, you're gonna confine yourself to this box that a lot of people nowadays you can see as example don't get stuck in that box. They look at the dream, they know the stakes, they know the odds, they know how difficult it's gonna be, but instead of looking at it and giving up, they view it as something that's possible. They lie to themselves, be like, I know 99% of people didn't do this thing, but I'm gonna be the one to do it. And when you view that statistically, they're lying to themselves. But in the end goal, they're really telling themselves the truth. They were really saying exactly what they're gonna do, and they knew the stakes, but they still pushed through it. And that's something that I realized recently is that I was using in my own life with these videos here. Is I'm lying to myself, but that lie is pushing me to do it again and again because it's like this unrealistic future, but that unrealistic future is so it's so appealing. It's like when you play out scenarios in the future in your head about certain conversations or things you got to do later on in the day, and because you've played it out in your own head, you want it to be that way. You work for that sort of outcome, and maybe 99% of the time, it won't end up in that outcome. But if you keep going at it, eventually, that 1% is gonna happen. If you shoot 100 times, you miss 99. One of the shots is gonna go in. It's due to consistency. It's due to drive. It's due to that getting back, falling down and getting back up, and that's all that comes in with lying to yourself. And you're gonna accomplish way bigger things by being delusional, by seeing the future as something that's unrealistic, but working towards it anyway. Because could you imagine if, even if you dreamt of like the wildest thing and you worked at it every single day, most likely, even if you don't even reach the dream, the max point that you wanted to get to at the beginning, you're still going to reach something pretty close to that standard, to that dream that you had at the beginning. And it's something that came from you just imagining something so unrealistic, but wanting it so bad that you tricked your mind. You became fully delusional. You lied to yourself. You tricked your mind into thinking it was so possible that you ended up getting pretty pretty close to it, or even getting there. And that's that's the point of it. That's the whole point of having dreams. That's the whole point of seeing all these people successful that found that that delusion for what they do, that passion, and didn't let set expectations or set standards affect how they treated their growth to that dream. They didn't see the only 0.01% of people do this and like view it as, oh, that excludes me, because there's still a possibility. And when people restrict themselves and view it as something so unrealistic and just give up, that's where the problem is at. And you're telling the truth to yourself. But sometimes, in order to get that far off one rare dream that you want, something that's so far fetched, but something that you want so badly, it it causes you to lie to yourself. It causes you to look past those facts, those stats, and those almost misguiding statistics where they try to. It's almost like they're trying to push you away in a. If you know what I'm trying to say, all this. It's like the people up top. They got there because they wanted to push out everything everyone was saying and find this delusion for what they're doing, and they're the ones at the top. It's not the ones who gave up and kept themselves in the box that have the most success, or the ones that have the most happiness. It's the ones that looked at all that, looked past it, became so delusional and passionate about what they do that they lied to themselves, looked past all the examples of failure with this certain thing, and made their own path. Their version of lying to themselves was their own path that got them to where they are now. And it's something so powerful because you can see it through countless examples of very successful people around the world, very successful athletes, and it's a huge aspect of how they got there. So next time you do find yourself in a situation where you have this dream, you have this passion, and you see a lot of people nowadays, like when they grow up, they realize how far fetched it was, but in reality, there's people who did it. There's people who went out there and did it, and they lied to themselves instead of being too realistic. They did what needed to be done for them to achieve what they wanted, and that's what you gotta replicate. You gotta replicate that success in your own life, so that you can get to where you want to be as well. And don't be the guy who shuts himself off in the box and gives up because of realistic examples. Be the guy who's following unrealistic examples and achieve the best. Because even if that realistic statistic falls onto you, I could probably guarantee you you went pretty close to that 0.01%. And so it's like it's almost like a you're shooting so high that even if you were to fail realist in an example, you built every that foundation, that drive, that passion, that even if you weren't the number one, you got pretty close, and you're successful in what you do. And there's something so great about doing what you love doing and being successful at it. Instead, on the other side, being the guy who gave up from the start because he saw that it was 0.001% of people were able to complete this, and now he didn't even get anywhere. So lie to yourself with those statistics. Don't look at the dream and view it as something that that's possible for you, because it may not be seen possible to society, but if you can trick your mind, you can lie to yourself, you're going to be able to push yourself to complete those goals. And lying to yourself is just it's it's like a counter to what most people think is the right thing to do. It's thinking outside the box. It's different and unique. And when you put that together with that drive, it leads to more success. There's no person who does something that's very normal and common that is at the top. The person who's at the top is always going to be doing something unique or different than others. And that's how they stand out. So keep that in mind, and you're going to find yourself being more delusional and driven to the thing you want to do, being different than everyone else. 'Cause that's where the prize is at, being different than everyone else. That's where you'll find the most success and happiness and fulfillment when you go and complete your goals, because you're not like everyone else. You're yourself. So that's what I want to talk about today. I'll see you guys next time.